On this day in 1968, Jim Kennedy was appointed as Celtic's liaison officer with their more than 300 registered supporters clubs. Jim Kennedy's appointment came at a time when there was much concern about hooliganism at football grounds, with bottle throwing a fairly common occurrence, and the Evening Times report suggests Kennedy's role was more than just listening to fan complaints and helping answer queries about match times and ticketing arrangements. Ger Henderson wrote on the 19th of August 1968, "He will be in full control of the increasing task of allocating tickets to the supporters clubs. He will be there to listen to complaints and suggestions and to put them right. He will also travel to matches with the supporters buses whenever he wishes, and he will have full authority to board any bus and investigate the conduct of the fans." Jock Stein was quoted in the report, "I am very pleased at the appointment. Jim has both the personality and the tact to do a first-class job. As a player at Parkhead, he was held in the highest possible esteem by the fans, and I am sure he will now get all the cooperation he needs in his new job." Jim Kennedy was Celtic to the core. So much so that he didn't even really want to be a footballer because it would mean not being able to watch Celtic play. Born in January 1934, he was of a generation whose working lives were disrupted by national service, and it was during his time in the army that he first played the game seriously. After leaving the army, he was asked to play a match for junior side Johnston Glencairn, but initially turned down the chance. When they refused to accept no for an answer, he relented, later saying, "Well, in the end I gave in and played, as Celtic weren't playing." After the match, Renfrew Juniors wanted him to sign for them, their representative even following him home. Kennedy went on, "He followed me onto the double-decker with his form, and he even came out to my house, but I was determined not to sign. However, on the Sunday there was a chap at the door. It was Teddy Smith, who was a Celtic scout, and his wife was Bob Kelly's sister. He waved another piece of paper under my nose, and this time I signed right away and didn't have to think twice about it." On signing for Celtic as a 21-year-old in November 1955, he was farmed out to Duntoker Glencairn before being recalled and made his debut in a 2-0 defeat against Partick Thistle on the 23rd of April 1956. His second appearance wasn't until January 1957, and it was only in season 1959-60 that he made the first team breakthrough. An uncompromising, old-school left-back who admitted he had a nosebleed if he ever crossed the halfway line, it was Jim Kennedy's great misfortune that his best years fitted almost exactly into the barren 7 years between the 7-1 win over Rangers in the 1957 League Cup final and the return of Jock Stein in 1965. He also had to contend with great players in first Sean Fallon, then Duncan Mackay, and finally Tommy Gemmell for a place in the team. But even so, he made 241 competitive appearances for Celtic and scored 2 goals. It was after the emergence of Gemmell that the President enjoyed the best spell of his career, as he was moved forward to the left half role in season 1963-64, where his name would be forever immortalised in the still popular song, "Celtic, Celtic, that's the team for me." There's Fallon, Young and Gemmell who proudly wear the green. There's Clark, McNeil and Kennedy, the best there's ever been. Jim Johnston, Murdoch Chalmers, John Divers and John Hughes, and 60,000 Celtic fans who proudly sing the news. By now just short of his 30th birthday, Jim Kennedy went on to win 6 Scotland caps between November 1963 and December 1964, including a 1-0 win over England and a 2-2 draw away to West Germany. Scotland lost only one of those matches, away to Wales, and the run also included victories over Wales, Northern Ireland and Finland. Ironically, he played in all of them at left back. If he had been a few years younger, Jim Kennedy would have earned many winners' medals after the return of Jock Stein, but as it was, he was allowed to leave for Morton in November 1965. Forever a Celtic supporter, the President travelled to Lisbon in 1967 and was amongst the waves of fans on the pitch at the end of the match, where he ran into Steve Chalmers, who invited him back to the dressing room. Jock Stein then insisted he should stay with the Celtic party and travel home with them the following day. Kennedy reluctantly turned down the offer, knowing Morton's chairman-manager Hal Stewart would not be best pleased if he missed training the next day. But this shows the esteem in which he was still held at the club. After returning as liaison officer in 1968, Jim Kennedy was actually registered as a player to enable him to take part in reserve matches, with Ger Henderson writing on the 19th of August. Meanwhile, Kennedy will continue to play football as well as taking over as an administration man. He has been training hard since before the start of the season, and tonight in a friendly game with Morton, he will lead the young Celtic players against his old club at Capello. Jim Kennedy carried out his new role until retiring in 1995, but remained a much-loved figure around the stadium on match days until his death at the young age of 69 in December 2003. He never won a major honour at Celtic, but Jim Kennedy left a much bigger impression than many more decorated players.